That's a fact. Now you look. You got to get ready for the big payback. Alrighty, so hopefully tonight goes a lot better than last night did. I don't know why the stream went to shit last night, but well, I know why, but why the computer decided after sitting around all day with nobody on it, nobody bothering it, why it decided, hey, our owner's going live. That's a great time for an update. Fucking idiot computer. Anyway, what am I trying to do here? One sec, just letting everybody know we're going live. Because, I'm lonely. So lonely. Alright. I get to be a little bit early. I mean, a little tiny bit. Actually, next week I might be even earlier. I totally screwed up. My son's karate. They actually changed the time on us. Because it's a new teacher this year. And they don't have really a first class. Yeah, the one they do for like non-belted kids. So they said, hey, we just move it up a half hour early. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, I can make it 7 o'clock, no problem. Yeah, all right, no problem. And then we rolled in today at 7:30. I'm like, oh, I screwed up. So now, in my defense, my son has been going there for a couple of years now, and it's been a couple of years that he's been in the second later class, or whatever. So, instinct and just, I prefer to go on autopilot whenever I can. So my brain just was like, it had been 2 weeks too since his last session because the teacher had car trouble last week, so they canceled it on us. And so it's like, oh, okay, no issue, just back to normal time. And like a moron. I had forgotten to add a reminder on my phone, and I'm basically at that point now in my life where if it's not a reminder on my phone, or somebody's not literally breathing down my neck about it every minute of every day until time goes by, I'm probably gonna miss it. I am thankful I do not have to go to jury duty tomorrow. I got my verification. That should be it for a while for U.S. District Court. So shouldn't be any delays in getting that wire done. Get in here so I can actually stream off of actual direct contact rather than doing Wi-Fi. I was looking at it too earlier tonight. That's one of the reasons why we're late going to my son's karate. And so it's popped up my drop ceiling in the basement. Take a look how I ran that wire before. It's going to be rough because one of the things I have in my way is a lighting fixture that I really can't screw with the drop ceiling on that part. So my basement is such that like my drop ceiling has about that much, like literally about that much room to I can pop the tile up, and I gotta immediately slide it over if I want to do anything. So there's no space in between anything, So it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be interesting. Once I can drag it back to the path it took to get out to the place it currently is, it's a matter of turning it around and having it go the other way. And I'm not 100% sure on how I'm going to pull that off. Because as I looked at it tonight, I realized that when I set it up originally, like I said, going the exact opposite way of this studio, I had to use a believe, a wire hanger that I transformed into a hook and pulled it back towards me because I couldn't get to the actual up through the drop ceiling because that's where the light fixture is, where that came down into the basement from the living room. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of improvising to get it out to where I want it to be. And I got to find out. I'm about 95% sure where this hole is. That's going to come in here and feed this. But I'm going to need to find something I can jam through there to be 100% sure. Because it would not be fun, to be going using the wrong one. Trying to go in through one hole and then... Let's be honest, we've all been there. We've heard the wrong hole. And it's not any different running wire. That's in case my mother's watching. She knows I go for the highbrow humor. I hope nobody minds if I laugh from this shit. So far, so good. Like I said, I hopefully I stop this thing because I set it up to, like I said, not do anything update-wise, except for between the hours like I think 11:30 through like 11 the next morning. I really don't use this in the morning or anything like that, so it's fine. Let it go. Whether or not it listens to me and abides by my request. That's a whole other can of worms there. I probably should actually live stream me trying to arrange the wire tomorrow. It could be entertaining for you guys. Be a lot of profanity. So I figure my kids will be asleep by that point. But I imagine it'll be a lot like when my father was putting together my brother and my sister's bikes for Christmas one year. Guess I was probably 6 years old or so. 5 or 6. I guess it's about 5 because I got a big wheel that year, so I'm trying to think. That sounds about right. But my it's a classic story in my family. My wife's heard it so many times; she's sick of it. But my father was a teacher at Academy Park High School, and his students. Well, actually, at the time it was Sharon Hill, but that doesn't matter really. His students had come by. Now, one student was a very good friend of the family, still is to this day, and they came by to sing Christmas carols to Mr. Coates, and so they come by, and my dad's in the basement, and he's trying to put together these bikes, and out of the basement, my mom's at the door with these Christmas carols. Hold on. Just the fighter mouse again, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Alexa, skip. Tell you, man, I think let's just shove the fighter mouse. Anyway, where was I? All right, so my mom answers the door, and they got the kids out there, 16, 17-year-olds or whatever, Christmas caroling. And my mom's sitting there with a smiling face on. Meanwhile, the basement, which had a window that was right up against that front door, you hear a stream of profanity that we always joke around lined up perfectly with the song. So it was like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Motherfucker! And my mom's listening to this, blue streak coming out of the basement. This, trying to be polite to the kids. And they were wondering why Mr. Coates is coming up, and meanwhile they are also suddenly starting to hear this horrible language. So it would be a lot like that. As good as my father was at profanity, though, I will say that I think I've surpassed him in my skills. I'm pretty sure I can make Andrew Dice Clay blush. I mean, one of my favorites I always like to go back to is when I first started playing the Arkham games. Now, I really wasn't big into gaming. Still really not what I would call myself a big gamer. But I bought Arkham Asylum. And I think it was Arkham Asylum. Maybe it was Arkham City. No, it was Arkham Asylum. And every time Joker would, talk smack after you die, it started getting a little irritating. Started to lose my temper a little bit. And if I remember correctly, I woke my wife up after like a very long gaming session. It's probably like 11:30 at night. I woke her up when I told the Joker that I skull fucked his mother. I dug her bones up, and that's when my wife told me I had enough for the night, and that it's time for me to go to bed. So I always liked that one. I believe I told Scrooge McDuck that too, or something similar. I think I definitely told Scrooge McDuck that I fucked his mother in the DuckTales remake. Primarily because when I was younger, and the first one for Nintendo came out, I was so good at that game. I don't know if a lot of people know, but there was a second ending you could get if you collected like X amount of treasure. You got like a bigger treasure pile at the end. And I regularly got that. I made sure that I knew all the tricks, all the hidden gems, all that stuff. And so I always got the bigger pile. Meanwhile, the remake comes out, and I couldn't beat one goddamn board. I eventually did, but it took a long time for someone that once thought he was an expert at the game. And as I said, a couple times I decided to tell Scrooge that I had an inappropriate relationship with a duck. Not my proudest moment. I should specify I also did not, that I didn't mean it. It was not real. He is a fictional duck. I have no idea what I'm saying right now. Just trying to fill the void. Let's take some more of that white. A little tap of that cobalt again to get it real blue. Come on, give me a tap. Let's see. So far, so good. Stream's looking alright. Pretty healthy. Don't get me wrong, it'll be better tomorrow. Wednesday. To pre-warn everybody, like, so it's not going to be this. It's not going to be this Thursday. It'll be probably next Thursday. It's going to fall under a Monday schedule because my son's karate class. He missed one last week, so they've got to make that up. And they're making it up next Thursday. So, or likely next Thursday. Not this coming one, the following one. So. Wanna die in the evening. Wanna die if I ain't dead already. Whoa. Girl, you know the reason why. My mother was of the sky. My father was of the earth. But I am of the universe. And you know what it's worth. Lonely. Starting to fray a little bit. That's not good. Brush is getting a few stray hairs here. Really, this brush needs another beating. Now, we put some of those greens in yesterday. You guys really didn't get to see. Put in a bunch of dashes over here of greens reflecting back from what will be the leaves. Yeah, the bush right up in this area. Slap in some of this blue again, even though it's not really 100% there. When you look at the picture, it kind of is, but I just want to make sure that we get this idea that this water ripples are continuing on past there. I'm dead already. Whoa. You know the reason why. Alright. Here's a stupid joke for you. I don't know why this popped in my head just now. I know why. I mean, I literally just sat here and went, alright. Anyway. How's the joke go again? George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matthew McConaughey are all sitting around having lunch one day. And they decide they want to work on a movie together. And George says, I'll produce. And Brad says, I'll direct. And Matthew McConaughey says, all right. Stupid. So stupid. I don't know why it just popped in. All right. Ah, Christ. These are jokes, people. This is as good as it gets. No wonder I have 6 followers. Can happen to you. You're young and hard. For his heart you will find to be narrow of mind. If you're young at heart. It's more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on its way. Don't you know that it's more? And it did occur to me that for my first stream here on Twitch, I picked a stream. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, you're not host about Ross anymore, right? Okay. What's Katie saying? Okay, what in the holy hell, man? She posted something. Alright, whatever. Weirdo Facebook. Sorry, my friend Katie posted something earlier today where she said, how did she put it? I'll just make sure I get it right. Nothing better than driving on a sunny, warm afternoon with Labyrinth blaring out the open windows. You're welcome. Now, mind you, she lives in Pittsburgh. And her husband actually still runs this area because they're working on trying to either get his job to transform or finding something else out there in the meantime. But she's out in Pittsburgh right now, so me, being the genius that I am, respond to her that I don't hear nothing, turn it up. As if somehow she could blare it loud enough to be heard, over 400 miles away. About time. I haven't heard it yet today. Since the first man has walked this earth, I have been here. To whisper seeds of doubt and evil thoughts into his ear. I am the beast, the unacceptable, fallen from on high. I go by many names, but there is one you can't. My name is Satan. God, I love Stephen Lynch. Though, admittedly, my wife and I saw him in on Broadway, and it was The Wedding Singer. Believe it or not, they had a Broadway show for The Wedding Singer. It was horrible. It was god awful. I mean, the movie's, debatable as far as being good, but it's entertaining. The play was not what we were hoping for. It was a setup for disaster. My wife had gotten sick right before the weekend was supposed to go. They weren't cheap tickets that I bought because it was for her birthday, and so she's half sick in the bag as we rush up to New York. It was an unusually warm spring day in New York, so there's an odor. So that didn't help my wife feel any better. And then we go see this play, which we like Stephen Lynch. She likes The Wedding Singer movie. Okay, sweet. And it was like, what the fuck are we watching? It was a lot like, did anybody ever see the Spaceballs cartoon? Like anybody's going to answer me. The first few episodes of the Spaceballs cartoon. Just looking for souls, which is fucking bullshit because I would never be caught in Georgia. Okay, so it's like, oh god, 666. If you've never seen the Spaceballs cartoon, I highly recommend never doing it. If someone tries to show it to you, they are not your real friend. If you need an alibi. I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit. It looks like it's getting blurry. Make it better? Make it worse. Okay. Alexa, skip. Oh, badly move. But the first few episodes of it are basically just a retelling of the movie, but somehow not as funny. And I don't know how they pulled that off. It's like all the good jokes. I mean, I can understand. It was meant for Cartoon Network. Oh, I'm turning it down. No, I didn't want to turn it all the way down. So I can understand you can't use the profanity that they had in the movie, etc. But the movie's funny even when it's edited on TV. So it's not just the profanity. You know what I mean? That makes it funny. But for some reason, the cartoon just sucked. And it was like that. That is the best way to put it. Like, somehow they're trying to do the same jokes, but the humor was sucked out of them. And I don't know how they did that. And it got really weird when it came to the whole, it was Billy Idol on the plane, and The Wedding Singer show, the Broadway show or whatever. I don't even know if it's on Broadway, off Broadway at this point. Spoilers: they don't use real Billy Idol. They have a thing where like it's Las Vegas celebrity impersonators that help him out, and it's just strange. And you know, I mean, I know MythBusters proved you can polish a turd. It doesn't mean you should. And they definitely failed on doing it anyway, and they really didn't have much to work with to begin with. You know, in the MythBusters example of polishing a turd, it had to be a solid one. And this is kind of more of a post Taco Bell one with like the fire sauce. As I said, I go for the highbrow humor here. So, but other than that, my wife and I like Stephen Lynch, and I highly recommend seeing him. Just don't ever go see him in The Wedding Singer. But it's been years since that show existed, so no big deal. Don't worry about it. No more questions, Your Honor. Anybody else ever see a shitty Broadway show that you were really hoping was going to be good? It doesn't have to be on Broadway, but you know. Now, in contrast to that, now my daughter, my oldest daughter, was on stage crew for her school's performance of Shrek the Musical. And now that only lasted on Broadway for a short time, and it's a pity because my youngest daughter actually wanted to see it on Broadway because we had seen it at the high school when my daughter was on the stage crew, and she was in charge of taking care of the kid that played Shrek. So she was in charge of his ice packs, etc., and changing them out whenever she could, you know, whenever like the few minutes that you get off stage. And let's see, we need some more cerulean, a couple spots. Alexa, skip. Not in the mood for that one either. There we go. But we enjoyed that one a lot. I was actually surprised at how well they did and how well it translated. I wish it had done better on Broadway because I really do want to take my kids to go see it. When I went to look for tickets, it had already been off Broadway for like 3 years. So I was like, oh, well, I didn't even know this existed. I kind of wanted to go see that train wreck of Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark. I kind of regret never going to see that train wreck. But knowing it was going to be a train wreck, it wasn't like I was going in with high hopes. Like I said, we went in with The Wedding Singer hoping for something good, and we didn't get that. And Lynch will admit he did it for a paycheck, basically. Let's see what else we need here. We're going to need some greens. Back here. I don't know if that's the right green, though. Oh, it'll be okay once it starts blending in with the blues. We're all right. We're all right. All right. All right. All right. Such a shitty joke. Anyway. This one will be good, too. Yeah, it's a little better, actually. I think I like that more. So just kind of breeze over it a little bit. Well, that yellowish green showing through is not a huge deal, but I think we're going to add a little more of this oxide chrome paled out one. That one is we're going to need much left in this tube. Got 2 in backup, so I'm alright. Boom, 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 boom. Just a little bit of medium again, a large medium. A lot more than I wanted to, but that's alright. It's fine, it's fine. Maybe like painting with watercolors. There's actually still some titanium white coming cleanly there. I'm gonna leave that. I like that. Gives you a little like a tonality to it, like, you know. Like that. Oh, I wish people were painting along with me. That's what I want. I wish I could get it eventually, maybe one day. I got my package away. If anybody's been watching this for a while, I've been talking about I'm trying to submit to a Stobart Foundation grant, and hopefully to improve this station, improve this channel. And so I got it away. I sent it out. So fingers crossed. I think I filled it out properly. I hate paperwork, so God only knows. The worst experience of my life was buying a fucking house because of all the paperwork you had to sign. I started having panic attacks like at the frickin' that was the term for it. Like literally the final stage I can't even think of. It's like something. My brain's going to shit right now. Fuck! Someone help me. My brain's going to shit. Come on, somebody's got to be there, right? Signing all the paperwork for the house. It's gone. It's gone. You know what? I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna try something here. Closing. Thank God. I can't. I don't know why that shit out of my head. And I didn't look it up. It literally just popped in there. No. Be good. I want to see if I can share something here. I might be able to choose the source. No, I don't want to. I want to connect. No, I don't want to do that. Server. I might be able to do both. Server URL. Choose where you want to post your broadcast on the right. Just trying to think something here. Let me see here if this will work. I don't know. not sure this is going to work, but I hope it does. This would be cool if it did. No. Shite. No. Alright, that's not going to work. Let's try something else. I thought there was a way to do that. What? Let's try. I'll try one more thing here. Access your camera now. Video. No. Cancel that. No. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna bother with it. It's not working. It's not working. I'm not gonna do it. Don't worry about it. And plus I'm screwing it up. Say, look. I'm fucking it up now. I see the scripting. So we're gonna leave it be. It's gonna be too much. Sorry. Didn't mean to do it. I was trying to play with something I thought I could pull off, but. It's going to get kind of complicated in here because we're going to have these little highlights of these greens that are part of the water, but underneath the water there's these, you know, I guess like algae covered rock is what it kind of looks like to me. So we're going to have this complication in trying to make those two work out together. They're going to want to fight a lot. And I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure on how I want to do it. Again, going back to that concept I've said a couple times. Painting is, you know, jumping into water and not knowing how to swim. Every painting, not just the first one, not the second one. It's every one. If you're doing it right, because it's about discovery too. It's a combination, really, to me, of some form or another storytelling, you know, or at least a conversational storytelling. That's how I always view it, and experimentation. Like I may have a general idea of what colors I think work together and can convey, you know, X thought, you know, whatever. But that doesn't always mean they're right. In fact, usually the most difficult struggles I'll run into sometimes will be when I'm thinking, oh, I know how to do this, and then I go to put it in there and it just doesn't work. A lot of times I come across that when I'm trying to do a portrait of somebody. I think, I know what the skin tones should be, and then I start doing it, and it's like, I start trying to find, you know, that one color I'm missing. I can't find it, and it's because you know, had unintentionally decided, oh, I know what makes this, like, you know, an hour and a half earlier. And so because I'm now deep with a wrong choice from an hour ago, I'm stuck with trying to figure out how to fix it, you know. And I mean, I realized that I made that wrong choice an hour ago, and I got to go through, scrape off the painting sometimes all the way out. Yeah, as I said, in my younger days when I was a little more hot-headed, I would just cut the canvas, strip the whole thing off, and maybe reuse the structures, provided they survived me throwing them across the room or trying to snap them or snapping them. Obviously, they wouldn't survive that part, but not quite as bad as I was then. I'm more prone to just kick things around here. Watch long enough, you will see it eventually. I assure you. So at some point it'll be a frustration from work comes home with me, and then something goes wrong, and this, and I know it doesn't seem this probably because I am very trying to be more methodical about what I do and what I choose to where I choose to put colors and stuff. But when I paint, I try to here be kind of like on an open wound, like a raw nerve kind of scenario. That's so I find I get, again, for lack of a better term, truer results out of my work if I'm doing that, rather than be too cerebral. You know. As I said in one of the previous streams, this specific area, what this place is to me, it has a lot of callbacks in my head to my breakdown. It has a lot of callbacks to bad times that, it also in some ways could serve as a resting place when things were going bad, at least for a while. So, that's where I am right now. I'm working on this. That's where my head is. And just a couple dark bits in there. And I prefer to be on that raw nerve type of feeling now. I prefer to have that, like a fresh wound. There's a song like that. Hurt. Johnny Cash version, not the original. Focus on the pain. The only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. The ocean stream. Try to kill it on the way. But I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I love goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. Alright, we need yellow ochre. Yellow ochre. I'm getting low on this bad boy. Gotta get more. Alright, so I always forget to explain what we're doing here. What's being done where. Got a little the cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, the Naples yellow deep, and some titanium white. Slapping those together real quick. Get it a little paler orange. We're gonna need titanium one more time because I just want to pale out my yellow ochre here too, just a little. And I think that should give us the right colors to finish this out. Oh, bad grip of mine. It's funny, like I'm sure a lot of people feel like this sometimes, but like I watched, every now and then I'll watch American Ninja Warrior, and I'll see it and I'll be like, I could train for that. I could get up to that. Yeah, especially when I was working out more often. It's like I'm going to train. I'm going to go on American Ninja Warrior, not American Idol. That won't help me at all. There. But the then like I remember that besides being almost 40 years old, I have bad tendonitis in my hands. Like I have what's it called? The Quer veins. The Quer veins, I think is what it is. So my grip's not anywhere near where it could be. Yeah, where it would have to be to compete on that. Like the first thing I'd have to hang from would be like, bam, right down. No, nothing I could do. Way to go, Funky Town. All right. All right. God, that joke's gonna be in my head all goddamn night. Now, shit. I'm gonna dream about that fucking joke. God, I hate that joke. I mean, I like it, but I hate it. All right. I'll tell it again for a new subscriber or a new follower. Now, if we have any luck, if I can finish this damn thing up before next Thursday, well, with like, actually, I'd prefer to finish it by like next Monday. First off, I just want to move on past it at this point. This has been a long painting, and I don't like taking this long with stuff like this anymore. I know I'm not my younger self, but I should be done this by now. But if I can finish this by next Monday, which I don't think is an unreasonable goal, if I have time, I hopefully will be able to pop together at least some sort of super cut of this quickly, and this way I'd have something for that Thursday when I'm not going to be here. But could keep my schedule at least. And if you're really lucky, maybe I'll come on or something. I don't know. Go live while I'm... Because honestly, my son's karate. I pretty much sit on my ass and watch YouTube videos or something just to keep myself entertained, because it's not like I can do anything. There's actually a Degas painting, actually. I have it right up here in my studio. Not the real one. It's definitely not the real one. I totally didn't steal it at Art Museum. No, but it's at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And it's a painting I really like. And I showed it to my son last time we were there. Because sometimes I think he might get concerned that I'm not watching like this, while he's doing it. And but the painting is of ballerinas, as Degas was prone to paint, and the mother of one of the ballerinas is sitting there, oblivious to everything, reading a paper. And I tried to show my son, I'm like, look, dude, it's like literally nothing has changed. The device that we use to keep ourselves as parents entertained while our kids are doing whatever the hell they're doing may be different. But yeah, this isn't new. It's like, okay, you guys are doing your thing now, and that's great. And I'm gonna be over here, So I cracked up with that. So who knows? I don't know. I guess I can't really give live commentary, but maybe I can be on the chat if I do get this done. We'll see, because I can't make that type of call yet. Because anytime I make a judgment call like that, like, oh, I'll be done this painting by this, something comes up, and then I don't get to finish it in time. Like, I can basically forget about having any extra time on the weekends now. Even though I chose not to go back to the Phillies, somehow my weekends are more jam-packed than they were when I was at the Phillies. So I don't know how that happened, but at some point we're going to be painting my son's room. At some point we're going to be stripping and painting the back area here in front of the studio, and take me to Funky Town. Honestly, if you don't like this song, you got a hole in your soul. You need to go get that looked at, man. Would you take me to Funky Town? I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's like Scuttle singing, isn't it? Ariel! How you doing, kid? I got some advice today about sending my work out to people, because I have a few paintings I would like to be mailing shortly to people. The one I actually need to get the address from a mutual friend. He doesn't know I've planned on sending this to him. Both the people don't know they're getting these paintings when they come, but one was I don't want to give specifics because God forbid he's actually on here or he watches my video or something when I post it on YouTube. So I don't want him to be aware that it's coming. I just know that the painting subject, which I chose at the time because I needed it personally. A mental or visual representation of something that was going on mentally. Again, all this stuff circling around that when I had the breakdown last year. But at the same point, it's a symbol he's held tight for a while, and he went through some shit that I would never want to even imagine going through. And my intention is for him to have this either as a gift or something he can raise money with for a charity he's created. And so I don't want to really go into much more than that, but it's like just here, it's both giveaways basically that I intend on doing are basically like a very do what you want with this. Whatever you see is appropriate is the purpose of that painting. The other is just based on a weird mental disconnect that I've had to it, the painting I'm trying to get rid of. I don't consider it my own work anymore. It's not mine to sell. It's not mine to give away. It's to anybody but the person I hold responsible for it. So I gotta just send it to him, and yeah. I'm gonna give him a note. Just says, yeah. Do with this as you see fit. Again, I'll explain what happened in my head about it regarding it, and just be like, just don't let me know the fate of it. Yeah. Hang it if you like it. Burn it if you don't. For all I give a shit. I'm not very sentimental with my works when I'm done with them. I don't know why. Maybe it's part of it just because I do tend to, mentally just go, okay, we did it. Now we're not happy with it because we got to do better now. Something like that. I don't know. All right, we want to grade this out a little. Not grayed out, like paled out. Just simple man. This is kind of ugly green, like I said. This is yucky water, like it's not yucky water. It's just that you can see the sediment and everything underneath of it. So it's half what's on top of the water and half of what's underneath the water, all kind of being visible at one time. I mean, I hope this comes through. You can sort of see it on this video. Again, I know I got shitty cameras, but there's this line here. You have your dark and you have this little paler color here, and that's the shadows hitting the water first, and then diffusing a little bit when it hits the ground. The sediment underneath. So that's why it's got that kind of weird echoey line along there. So like I said, half of what we're doing here is technically stuff that's on the surface, and half of it's underneath the surface, and the way it's just kind of fluttering back and forth between the two. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Everything I say is a lie, including that statement. Maybe it doesn't need to be that thinned out. Took just the straight. Let's see if we get. That's not too bad actually either. So I might use a little bit of both. So yeah, like I said, I thought I needed to pale that one out, but I don't think it does. A little back and forth with it. There's eyes. God, how long until June 22nd? I know it's like a month and 22 days, but sorry. It's a Gaelic storm playing in my ear right now, and I'll get to see them on the 22nd of June. I get to see them, and my wife's going with me, primarily just to get drunk at the Celtic Festival at the Renaissance Fair. It's fine by me. Because then I get to convince her to do all sorts of dirty stuff. I can say that because she's not watching. Though sometimes I feel like she hears the things I say even when she's not here. Like I can almost feel her eyes rolling. Her shaking her head like, no. Remember, marriage is about finding that person you want to annoy for the rest of your life. And who you don't mind annoying you. You use that as basis for your relationship, I guarantee you'll have a happy one. You believe in any of that Disney happy ever after bullshit, then you live your life with a miserable, unrealistic expectations. Just some good old words of advice. I'm half thinking that as I look at this, you might even need to break out the burnt umber. Or like raw sienna, something like that. I'll have to look around. Burnt sienna? Go half to half? Half hour to go. Alright. I should be able to get some good stuff done here. If we get through a majority of this tonight, let's see here. We ought to be able to finish it no later than Wednesday pretty easily, and then we can hammer out these. Yeah, hopefully finishing this by Monday next week should be achievable. And I'm trying to account for the amount of times that I will overwork something too. So, you know, it happens. I'm a troublemaker. Alright, so far, so good. What the hell are you doing, Alexa? Oh, god damn it. My fault. Shouldn't have said a name. I wish they gave you the option to, like, type something in. I mean, I know there's, like, a couple choices you can choose for that thing. I'm not going to say its name. You know. But you can switch it to, like, computer. You can switch it to, I think, Echo. There's a few options in the settings that you can switch to. But none of them that I can look at will keep me from accidentally triggering it off. Do you know what I mean? Like, you switch it to computer, so you could be all Star Trek. You'd be like, computer, tell me. Like, it. Just when you talk about, like, well, my work computer today shit the bed or something, it's going to go off. So that's not going to work. And my work computer shits the bed all the time. So I know when I come home and bitch about it, that sucker's going to be going off left and right. So then, I as it is, I have to be careful because my daughter's name is really close to the name we call this, my oldest daughter. So I have to be careful not to say her name in its fullest form. We usually say Allie. Um, so we got that problem in my house specifically. But then this damn thing just sets off on its own. Yeah. Anybody else have one of these? Yeah, the Echo or the. I wonder if Google Alexa, skip. Yeah. I don't know if the Google one's any better or not, but this thing triggers all the time. It's just the weirdest moments. You don't even think you said anything that could set it off. It just bothers me the hell out of me sometimes. I mean, instinctively, I'd want to like name it fucknut or something like that, but I use that term too much, so I don't think that's gonna work. It would be nice to be able to yell at my house, though. You know, hey, fucknut, dim the lights. I see some new names at least listed as viewing. Welcome, welcome, hello. I know it's not super exciting. My goal here is not to be super exciting as a painting. My goal is to eventually get this thing to be a channel where people are painting similar, if not the same subjects. They don't have to paint the same subjects. Like, I don't want to be like Bob Ross, like where everybody's painting exactly the same. But, yeah, me doing landscape, they doing landscape, and we can eventually, they should send pictures, and we can have a conversation. Critiques, all that fun stuff. Make everybody a better artist. It's funny, when I was a kid, I had Iron Maiden posters all over my bedroom. I never listened to them. I was like 8 years old. I just wanted to be edgy, you know. And you had Eddie or whatever, right? It's the same. Actually, you know what? A couple of these blue spots. Let me take that a little darker here. That's a couple. Give it a little depth. Take a little French ultramarine, right? That's what we got here. And let me give it like a parts where this crick or whatever gets a little deeper. Told you, Scuttle singing. Come on, I'm not picking up any of it. Alright, what's going on here? Did I got too much skin on this? It hasn't been touched in a few days, so it might. Maybe meet it halfway too. Excuse me. That's all I got to say about that war in Vietnam. Alexa, skip. I swear to God, you keep shoving deflator knives down my throat. Alexa, skip. There we go. I was gonna say, if you didn't catch it that time. Yeah, lighten it up a little bit. But I want it to look a little deeper there. a wizard of finance. My dividends would be so stupendous, baby. Even Dow Jones wouldn't find it hard to believe. I'll go back over that with that one right there. So it's definitely like these green highlights on top. Yeah, that's where the water kind of gets us. Again, I hope you guys can still see the stream feed. It's not the stream chat, but like the actual feed where it shows like the original link to the original picture that we're using off of this. So you get that where the water's interacting here, like intersecting and rolling in on itself. That's what we're trying to capture here. If anybody's looking at this, by the way, I mean, again, I know I got shitty cameras. I am aware of that. I'm working on it. I'm hopefully, like I said, I've got applications right now for 2 different grants, hoping to at least improve this one. This, like I said, you don't want to see my face anyway. I'm gonna hide it. As long as you guys just don't come after me with like torches and pitchforks, I don't care. But if anybody's watching and ever feels the need to critique, by all means, please do. As long as we're on an understanding that it should be a constructive criticism, not a you suck or whatever. I know I suck. That's all right. And like I said, that's what I want this channel to evolve into, hopefully, is people talking and constructive criticizing, not getting offensive, not getting... I mean, I'll be offensive when I talk when I'm painting on here, but I promise I'll never be offensive to anybody that wants to critique. I'm pretty good at them. And I tend to have a thick skin when it comes to having a critique done. As long as it's actually constructive. Oh. Chris? Right, there's Kyrus. Might have read that wrong. But, welcome. Thank you for joining. Gotta find something more artistic than zombies at some point. Get a little touch up there. And I do mean, like I said, if I can get to the goal that I'd like for this Twitch channel to become, I mean it to be not just for people that are, impressionist painters, not just for people that are been painting for years or a certain skill level. Like I want everybody, man. I want. I do. The one skill I can always say that I've been pretty good with. I don't consider myself good at painting. I consider myself still very much a student. Not, like even like my youngest, she did one of those like, not paint by numbers. Like what do they call them? Like a lot of like 40-year-old women do the like where they go and they paint and they drink or whatever. It wasn't obviously for drinking because she's 8, but uh, painting with a twist or something, whatever those things are called. Um, and she was her painting honestly was one of the better ones that came out of that class. I'm not doing it because she's my daughter. It literally out of what I could see from the the group photo and everything, hers was really well done. I was almost saddened because I really don't want my kids following in this art obsessed lifestyle, but she's got a knack for it, and at least in painting, all my kids have some knack in art. I think I said this before on this, like one of the earlier episodes. But she's got the drawing, painting knack, most certainly. And I gave her a critique. Not again. I want it to be understood. I'm not like, oh, this is crap. No, it was very much like, okay, I see what you're going for here. Next time when you're doing it, because they were painting off of it was cupcakes or whatever, and I think they had a cupcake right in front of them because it was one of their friend's birthday parties, so it made sense. And I was like, okay, just pay attention to like this little spot. And then she's telling me about like little things she did and along the edges. She had a couple of various colors of dashes because she sees it in my paintings all the time, and she wanted to do that too. And so it was a neat little back and forth. And I actually was sitting there talking to my 8-year-old about, well, when you do these two colors together, when you squint your eyes just a little bit, your eyes start to blend them together, and you get this idea that, again, I know they're shitty cameras, so you guys can't quite get what's up here. But like, in these darker patches, we've got a couple of various. It's not just greens. There's actually a little bit of French ultramarines. There's a couple of different variations of going on that, because the camera's kind of shitty, it looks like it blends in pretty well. And that's kind of what I was trying to show her. Is like, when your eyes mix things up and they don't want to look at these little dashes. They want to make it look how the world looks. So it kind of tries to do that in your head, which is what I'm trying to show you. Is that you can look at something like a body of water and get these multiple colors that are all there, that are being blended, mostly just by the sheer factor of how light works, but there's little glimmers of the way the tree reflects from here. But obviously we're going to have some, like I said, there's going to be branches. If you see the original picture, there's branches here that will reflect down here, but those same branches have stuff that's coming way out here even. So there's these little flickers of green that are going to be out here, or that are starting to be out here, that are from that, or from here, however you want to put it. And it's those little moments that, as that water's rolling past you, it'll only be there for half a second, but if you capture it right, it does that same result in a way in here. That's my view. As I said, I've openly admitted, I went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs last year, but I've always painted like this, so I can't attribute it to that. I throw in a little. There we go. Just a little bit of that here and there. It's a little barely noticeable difference between the lighter blues we're using earlier, but this is a little yellow green mixed in to the lighter cerulean we made earlier. I should pick it up and get a little more green back here. Oh, I got a couple of people joining me. Hello. Don't be shy. Say hello if you want. If you want to see more of that, I will always apologize for these shitty cameras until I can replace them. And then I'll probably complain about those ones too. But at the end of the night, when the stream's done, I usually take a picture of it and post it on my Facebook page as well. It's facebook.com/Brian Coates Paintings. All right, make sure I'm right about plural. Hold on. You figure I would know my own, but let me just make sure. Yeah, Brian Coates Paintings. Plural. That's Coates. Like Steve Coates if you're a Flyers fan. If you're not a Flyers fan, nobody's perfect. But the photos I'm able to post up there are a little better. Oh. Hi, Katie. Katie's one of my followers on my Facebook page. So. What was I gonna say? The photos I post on there are a little better than what comes through here. They're a lot better. I still say, and I hold true to it. You still will never get a full understanding of a painting by looking at a photo of it. There's just stuff that's just never going to come through in a photo, be it a certain color. Last night I was using or not last night, 2 nights ago. There's some. This is mostly French ultramarine, but there's some cobalt dashes in here that you won't see here and you won't see on that photo when I do post it at the end of the night. It's just one of those things. And on top of it, with my paintings, I use impasto painting. It's very thick. So some of the texture that you would get from being in front of it, you won't see when you're looking at it through an online photo. And that's my trick to get people to have to find out my work, where it is. If only I could convince people to show it somewhere besides the Chester County Art Association. And don't get me wrong, very thankful for what they've done for me so far. And just give me a place to put some of my stuff. I wish that some of it would sell, but we'll get there. Actually, I think that's. I was thinking about the other day because I've been sending out some applications to various juried shows and stuff, and I just haven't been getting them. And a couple of galleries here or there, and haven't been getting them. And yeah, I'm concerned with the grant applications I've been having. How often did I paint? I'm pretty set here. I've been really good about keeping the schedule so far. What did I post? Hold on. I'll look at my schedule here again. No, shit, where is it? I thought it was right here on the dashboard. I look like an idiot sticking my tongue out. Hold on, let me put it up here. But I'm usually here every Monday night. I think I got listed 9:15 to 10:45 or 10:30, somewhere around there. Go to 10:45 tonight. That's going to be shifting a little bit, so I get a little earlier because my son's karate class got moved up. I forgot about today, so we're late, but I'll adjust it so I can get on here a little earlier. Then I'm here Wednesdays. No, damn it. Wrong thing, sorry. Hold on. Wednesdays, I think I'm in here from 7:15. I think I would know my own shit, right? I'm a moron. Here we go. Streaming 8:15 to 10:30 on Wednesdays. Thursdays 8:15 to 10:30. Sunday is my really light day. Right now it's usually about 7:30 ish depending on when I get done with my family dinners. So we always eat over at one of the grandparents' house. Um, yeah, give the kids a time with their grandparents. So uh, depending when we get home, it's usually around 7:30. I can get back out here, and then I stop before 9 because of either Walking Dead, which was earlier this year, or now Westworld. Because my wife and I just love them, and Game of Thrones will eventually fall back under that, I'm sure, at some point. But I think Westworld is done around June 10th. That's what I kind of projected it as. So I should be then switching to late nights on Sundays as well. But that's a ways off. I've been trying to be good, though, about keeping this schedule. I guess I should put another Facebook post about it, just to make sure it's kind of everywhere. I got distracted. What was it? Oh, the I was thinking about the fact that when I was in college and stuff, I actually stymied a few of my professors when I told them how I'd already had like 2 or 3 shows at coffee shops. I mean, I didn't think they were anything special. I was like, they're coffee shops. And my one professor was literally like, I know people have graduated for several years, and they still haven't gotten one. I was like, did they ask? Because that's all I ever did was I would just walk. Now, the coffee shops I got, they were all within my commute home. So I was carrying paintings 9 times out of 10 when I went in there. I was just asking them, hey, would you be interested in showing stuff like this? And I think that might be why I've been losing out on some of these shows, because now nobody really wants you to come in with them. They want you to send, photos or whatever, and it's like you can't see the real painting. Oh no, well, it's not for a class. But my goal for this channel technically would be to be sort of art instruction. So it's for a class if you consider me the teacher of it. Like what I want people to eventually get to, hopefully with this, would be to paint along and to post photos of what they do. And it doesn't have to be necessarily the exact same thing I'm working on. I don't want... I always use the example of Bob Ross. I don't want people sending me paintings that look exactly like mine. If you want to use the photo I have on my stream or whatever as a reference point and starting off with it, that's why it's there. But if you have something maybe of a similar motif or something along those lines that you want to work off of, I would like to kind of keep it within the idea that it be similar thematically. So like I said, if maybe not a bridge, but you got a nice little wooded path or something maybe in your house that you can go out and either paint from life if you can. I mean, I wish I could. I wish my schedule allowed it, and that I actually could figure out a means to carry. That's the one part I would get really confused with, is how to stream it. But to paint from life is ideal. In the worst case, do what I do here, which is take a photo and then I work off of that. But it's always somewhere I've been and I've taken that photo. That's the one thing I try to restrict myself to. I don't like to work off of other people's photos. First, because the copyright issues are a big issue. And 2, I can put myself back in the place I was when I took this photo. So I can kind of mentally smell the air where I was. I can remember what I was feeling when I was here, on the day I took this. And so I would like to keep in with those kind of guidelines in play. I might do a still life at some point, and again, kind of keep it in a similar idea of if I'm doing fruit, like maybe I have apples and pears. I don't know, just picking something. But you got grapes and bananas. Cool. Work with that. We can work off of that. I got wine bottles. Do beer bottles or something. Whatever. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. So that's my goal. Whether other people will follow along with it, I don't know. I think it's kind of a unique thing on here. I see a lot of people that just, they're doing their creative stuff, and it's just, okay, here's what I'm doing. And that's fine, and I watch enough of this on here as well. But I'd like to get something more, I don't want to say instructive, that's not right. But much more interactive. Much more both parties here being part of the creation process. I plan on doing a few episodes, probably once I'm done this one. If I can't do a super cut of like just movement through this, just because of timing, if I can't pull it off, I want to put in like maybe a quick episode of like taking a couple paintings, either stuff that like stuff that I'm fans of, Van Gogh, Delacroix, something like that, and then just talking about that, just a little bit of artistic interpretation. Something along those lines. It's just I want this channel to be very capital A art. Yeah. If that makes sense. I never know if I make sense. There's a lot of this. I'm going to go deeper, though. A little deeper. I don't have much time left before I cut this off, because I really do want to get in. I do have to work tomorrow, as much as it sucks. My work sucks every day, so it doesn't matter. But I want to get a little note in to my head. A little of that, and actually... Alright, so I got a little mixture here of some oxide of chromium, similar to the one we paled out here earlier, just going a little deeper, and grabbing a little bit of that yellowish green in there too. It should work to give it a little unique vibrancy. It's very, very wet. It's got a lot of medium in it. Is that what I wanted though? No, it's not what I wanted. Maybe if I stick with the... Okay, I'm going to try putting it in the yellow-green. This wasn't there. As I said earlier, painting is jumping into water and not knowing how to swim. Water. Pun not intended. Is it really a pun? I don't know if it is. Anyway. Yeah, that's a little better. There we go. Something a little more unique. So we got the heavier reflections, and I'm going to have to go back into them. They're not quite as bright as I would like them to be. I don't know if this is coming across clear where I'm pointing to, so I just want to look at it real quick. I'm going to grow big. Alright, well, this area right here. The yellowish green's not really quite as popping as I want it to be, because that's reflecting, literally, there's like, a handful of like tree branches, like a little tree right here. That's what that's reflecting here. But there's also this deeper color back here. That's more reflecting off of these. Well, it's probably the way this path goes is it curves around, so it's probably right from in this area. That's reflecting down as well. And so this isn't bright enough for me yet. So we're gonna go back into that at some point. Probably mix that yellowish green with I'm thinking cadmium lemon. That's my instinct. It's right. I don't know. It feels like that's what I want, but we'll give it a shot once we get there. That's kind of tricky because they'll get very lost very quickly right now, but that's all right. It'll be a lot easier once I actually have that tree actually there. To really know what I want out of it, but I'm pretty sure what I want out of it. So it may be something that I end up working again on Wednesday, and then like 2 weeks from now. Hopefully it's not that long. God, I hope it's not that long. I really want to wrap this up sometime soon. But, a few days from now, I'll actually, maybe we'll get this part done and I go, you know what, this needs something else. And we'll go back into it a third time. That's all right. It's always okay to do that. Like I said, if you were here earlier, I used to be a very anti-reworking type person. It's like if I didn't get it right the first time, I scrapped the canvas and usually scared the hell out of whoever my studio mates were in college. And sometimes people that weren't in my studio. I would throw away easel across the room. But it's just about there. And you know what? Let's take that little bit of white, little titanium white, just to tap it in, because it's going to get mixed in real quick on the canvas. So I'm okay with that. I like doing that a lot. Just a little dib. It's got a lot of medium in it, so it's going to get mixed in there really quickly. Actually, I'm going to go back in with the orange to split these up. A couple of them got over top of each other. Like I said, I want that sediment, that nastiness coming through. Yeah, it's not really nasty, but you know what I mean. It looks nasty in comparison. That yellow ochre. Alright, you know what? I think that's going to be it for tonight. Alexa, stop. Sorry, this Blackbird just ended. And I can't think of a better way to end on that song. It's such a beautiful song, very calming. So we're gonna wrap it up here. So, hopefully, Tuesday tomorrow night I plan on running the wire. I do post it. Usually with an obscene joke. Like today I was making a joke about it having because the other night my stream was really bad. It was stalling on me like crazy. And so I made a comment about how hopefully the stream's better tonight. If not, I think my computer has a digital kidney stone. It's usually a pee joke when it comes to the stream. But the hopefully Tuesday I can get done what I want to do around here in the house to bring the actual internet wiring into here, so I'm not trying Wi-Fi, and it'll hopefully keep things at least a little steadier. I don't have a bad issue with stalling out and lagging on people. So hopefully all goes well tomorrow night. It's going to be tricky, but I think I can do it. And then I'll be back here Wednesday, 8:15 if not earlier. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you then.